Hello! It is Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the Daily Solve. This is my second video today, and that is because I am now in a new environment, and I want to make sure that I have something to test this whole setup and area with, so that tomorrow morning, when I do the standard New York Times Crossword Daily Solve, everything's fine and I don't need to mess around with anything or do any tests then. So I figured, why not do another Guardian crossword, another British general knowledge crossword, just because it's a thing I can do to put this new setup through its paces. We are house sitting for some friends. So that's why I am in a different environment for a few weeks. And I have everything has been, well, not everything has been brought over, but enough has been brought over to make this workable. So let's see how it goes. I'll just get right into it. So this is the quick crossword, the Guardian quick crossword, which is one of their general knowledge crosswords. And apparently it is number 15,977. That is a British convention to number crosswords rather than date them, which I find quite charming. All right, and another British convention, crossword convention, is to list the number of letters in the answer, and if the answer is 2 words, to list the length of each word separated by a comma or more than one comma, in the case of 3 or more words. Anyway, it has good and bad sides. Actually, to be honest, I'm not sure offhand. So let's go to the next one. Oops, same shortcuts from the New York Times do not work here. So strike a toe against an object. I assume that is to stub one's toe. A set of bells in a tower is a carillon. That is a sort of a series of bells that can be played as a musical instrument. So if you've heard a bell tower play music before, different pitches that actually create melody, that's a carillon. That's what that is. One with 3 siblings. Okay, so this would be a group of 4 siblings. One of those, is it a quadruplet, tetruplet? Because triplets, that's easy, and twins, that's easy. Quintuplets is 5, sextuplets is 6. Why am I not confident about 4? Is it qua or tetruplet? No. Quadruplet? Boy, I hope that's right. Transport for the departed. I'm going to say this is a hearse, a vehicle that transports a coffin. A brimmed hat with an indented crown. I suppose that's a fedora, right? Source of stimulation, not instant. 2 words. Not instant. So not instant coffee? Is that what that's getting at? I'm not sure. Abrasive scourer, 2 words. Not sure. This test may never reach the light of day if I fail to solve this crossword. Neighborhood. Well, neighborhood can be an area. Let's put that in for now, knowing that that's a bit of a guess. Human or family, and this is 3 words. I'm not sure offhand. I'm going to go to some of these crosses for now, since we have some of the crosses, and go to some of the downs. A gatecrasher is an intruder. An implant. Oh, quadruplet. Oh my God, how did I miss that? Quadruplet, of course that's what it is. And the reason I went back to that is because to implant is to embed. So rather than, this is actually implant as verb as opposed to implant the noun. So embed something within something else. Blank the Night, 1978, Bruce Springsteen and Patti Smith song. This would be Because the Night belongs to lovers. Sign up. So here's a British answer, because to sign up for something is to enroll for something, but the British spelling of this word ends in a single L, whereas the American spelling of the word ends in 2 L's. So watch out for that sort of thing. Paid tribute to. I assume this is saluted. Gas used in illuminating signs. Of course, that is neon. Neon gas. Anne O'Brien, anagram. English composer, record producer, and theorist, born 1948. This undoubtedly is Brian Eno. Well-known musician. That's a good anagram because it's another name. That's nice, as opposed to being a set of words. Very clever that they've done it into another name, a fictional name, presumably. Although there may well be someone named Anne O'Brien. Why not? Bone disorder caused by vitamin D deficiency. Is this rickets? Is that what rickets is? Rickets is one of those things you hear about, and I don't really know very much about what it actually is, other than it is bone related, I think. So I believe so. Stoked. So this could be stoked as in stoked a flame. Could be stoked slang as in very pleasingly excited. That seems very American to me. Yeah, I'm not sure offhand. Let's keep going. Plant life in a particular 20. So I think this might be referring to 20 across. In the American convention would be to say in a particular 20 across. And I guess that must not be the convention in British crosswords, or at least not in The Guardian. But I assume that means plant life in a particular area. And I think what that's getting at is flora. In other words, the sort of endemic plant life in a particular place. Scrap. So this could be scrap as a verb or scrap as a noun. In other words, sort of garbage, but I'm not sure. Setting control. Setting control. I'm not sure offhand. Let's keep going. So let's see. What do we have here? Source of stimulation, not instant. So this does look like coffee bean, not instant. So I guess because you're using the beans as opposed to grounds or instant coffee, which would be faster. Stoked. It looks like it could be feed or something, but it's only one word and it's past tense. Still not sure. Okay, so now we're hitting this point in British crosswords where they can get tougher because you have so many fewer crosses than you do. If you remember the other day in American crosswords, I was talking about the notion of an unchecked square. Now, that means a square that doesn't have any crosses, so it's nothing to check it against in the opposite direction. And as you can see in this crossword and in most British crosswords, this puzzle is absolutely jam-packed with unchecked squares. They are everywhere. And that's just a difference in how the puzzles are constructed by convention. I don't really know why. I don't actually know very much about the history of crosswords, to be honest with you. Anyway, all right. Abrasive scourer. What would that be? Human family. 3 words. Ah, flesh and bone. No? Flesh and blood, sorry. Oh, God, what did I do? Did it save my progress? Good. Okay. Oof. Close one. Flesh and blood. So what this is saying is this is human as an adjective. In other words, I'm only human. I'm only flesh and blood. Or family as in a noun, I suppose, in this case. You're my family. You're my flesh and blood. So that's what that means. That's nice. Oh, a scrap. I see. Once again, didn't fully consider enough the different senses this word could be. A scrap is a brawl. In other words, you get into a scrap, as opposed to scrap. Well, I suppose actually this could be a verb as well. They're scrapping, they're brawling, but not the verb that I meant when I said scrap, which was to toss something in the bin, basically. Not that one. So setting control. Could it be roll, as in pitch, roll, and yaw, that kind of thing? In other words, sort of a setting in the sense of a bearing in an aircraft in this case? Roll? That doesn't feel, I'm not very confident about that. So I'm not going to put it in just yet. Let's keep looking around. Well, the stoked probably ends with an ED. Boy, I don't know. Let's go. I haven't looked at this across clue in a while. It has good and bad sides. Could that second word be blessing? It has good and bad sides. What has good and bad sides? I don't know. An argument? What is this? It has good and bad sides. There's a good and bad side to what? Oh, boy. If that second word, I mean, it does look like it could be blessing. So it has good and bad sides. Oh, a mixed blessing. It's a mixed, something is a mixed blessing. Sort of a double-edged sword, I suppose, is sort of a similar concept. Has good and bad outcomes, I suppose. Okay, abrasive scourer. So could this be, I mean, the most obvious meaning here would be a scourer as in something that you use to scour a stain off of a counter or something like that, something physical. Could it be someone who scours an area, someone who's looking for something? It seemed less likely only because I don't know what it means for them to be abrasive. Abrasive scourer. Abrasive scourer. Some kind of tool. Steel wool. I mean, steel wool is what you'd use. I mean, wool would fit. Wire wool. I mean, steel wire wool. Let's see, setting control. So that's not roll. Stoked. I feel as though I should be able to get this with this many letters filled in at this point. Stoked. You stoked a fire. What else does one stoke? An argument? You fueled it. You gave it more fuel. I suppose that's almost more the metaphorical sense, because stoking a fire, does stoking a fire count when you give it more fuel? I always think of stoking a fire as when you sort of readjust what's already in the fire. So I guess this is more of the metaphorical sense, as in fuel an argument, stoke an argument. All right, setting control. Setting control. So what would this be? Setting. What kind of setting could this be? I mean, I'm thinking of settings as in things that are essentially controls, but what would it mean that it's setting control, that they are using both words in the clue? Setting control. Could it be setting control as in setting as a verb? I don't think so, because that doesn't seem like the kind of word that this would be. You'd think that word itself would end in ing or would be longer than this. So it's a control used to dial in a setting, to dial in a setting. It's a dial. So it's a dial. Okay, there we go, as in a knob. So I think that's the puzzle, actually. We don't get a there's no fanfare when we complete a Guardian puzzle. There's no pop-up, there's no anything. But I think I can say check all. And someone in the comments the other day told me that if nothing happens, then you've probably gotten it right. If it doesn't fix anything, which I don't think it did. All right, so that was a I would say a much less UK specific crossword than the last Guardian crossword we tried, which had quite a few bits of British language in it. I would say not as many this time around. Let's see, what enroll is the British spelling of enroll. I mean, Brian Eno, as the clue indicates, he's English, but Brian Eno, I would say, is a relatively international figure. Is there anything else in here? I mean, it's possible that wire wool is more of a British phrase, whereas I think steel wool is what you'd call that in the United States. I don't think there's much else in here that felt particularly British to me. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. But this felt like a pretty general puzzle. I mean, I will say that in general, I do find these tricky because I'm accustomed to the American convention of a lot more crosses, which, to be totally honest, it helps you out a lot. It gives you a lot of assistance when you don't necessarily know something right off the bat. But we got there in the end, and I enjoyed it. There were some good words in here. Flesh and blood, I really liked. Human or family. I like this because human and family, they both appear to be nouns. But then, in fact, human is an adjective. It's a descriptor in this particular case, and that was fun. Mixed blessing, having good and bad sides, that was pretty good. I think I got kind of lucky realizing that the second word might be blessing. Just based on the crosses, it looked like it might be, and that helped me get the first part. I was fortunate to know what a carillon is. I don't know that that's necessarily the most commonly used phrase. But yeah, I enjoyed this crossword, this Guardian crossword at number 15,977. So hopefully the audio and video turn out okay on this recording. If they don't, you'll never see this video. But if they do, then I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be back tomorrow for the New York Times Daily Solve, the Friday crossword, to close out the work week with a relatively tough puzzle, I assume. So with that, I'm off. Do subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this series. I'm enjoying making it. I hope you're enjoying watching it. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.